everybody. Welcome to the Somerset Business Hub. Obviously, a very important workshop for us today on AI. I think just judging by the interest, we had a lot of people who wanted to come today. We had a lot of, we sold out. We had a lot of people on a wait list. So it just kind of shows you the general interest there is out there in AI. I've had a lot of conversations with our panel and some of our other IT members. Over the years, we've done events on cybersecurity, and it certainly doesn't draw an audience like this. I think there's something with AI that for people who aren't in the IT, the tech world, really kind of sparks interest, because I think it's going to impact not just your business, but everyone's life. Obviously, today we're gonna focus on the business side. So just to give you some logistics for today, unlike some of our other chamber events, this SBH Workshop is really going to drill down into specific areas. So it is roughly a 90-minute program. There's coffee, water in the back. Restrooms are down the hall. So if there's anything that you need, grab Lydia, Jackie, myself. We'll be around the room. We have a great panel today, which will be introduced in a second. So just a couple other housekeeping notes about the partnership as we wind up our programming for this year. We're looking at next year. So it's not just some of the workshops we're doing. We have a ton of other groups, young professionals, women in business, sustainability, etc. We're looking for speakers and presenters. So if there's something that you're interested in or your company is interested in presenting on, please let us know. If you could send me or our info at an email saying, we're interested in presenting on this with maybe a 2 or 3 sentence description. What we do as a staff is we meet with our co-chairs at the end of the year for these groups, and then we come together and pick out what the presentations are going to be, at least through the first 3 or 4 months of next year we do in the next few weeks. So if there's something you're interested in presenting on, now is definitely the time. In front of you is our Somerset Business Magazine. So we're wrapping up. This will be one of the last few times we distribute the 2024 edition. Friday is the ad deadline for the 2025 version, which gets unveiled at our annual meeting. Our annual meeting's on December 9th. It's the largest business gathering in Somerset County. We will sell out. We already have about 500 tickets sold. It's about 550 to 600 people at this luncheon. We have our Citizen of the Year Award, our Business of the Year Awards, and our 40 Under 40 Awards. I know we have a few 40 Under 40 winners and 40 Under 40 alumni in the room this morning. So all that happens at our annual meeting. So if your company is interested in attending, again, it will sell out probably before Thanksgiving. So please get on that. So we're going to dive right into it today. We're going to leave some time afterwards at the end for networking, to give you a chance to speak with the panelists afterwards. There'll be some times for questions, but you might have a specific question. Someone's getting a Teams call. So if you have any specific questions or you want to talk to a panelist afterwards, they'll stick around for a few minutes, but we'll have some networking afterwards. So I want to call up our moderator for our panel discussion. So we're going to have a bit of a opening panel discussion with our moderator and our 3 speakers, just kind of level setting on where we're at, and then each speaker is going to present for a little bit on a specific topic pertaining to AI. So Meeta, would come up. Meeta is an owner of TeamLogicIT and is a newer member to the partnership. And I think there's, as we talk about this, there's a lot of partners in the partnership, whether it's going to be on the panel, whether it's Meeta, who can really help guide you in your business on AI. The partnership uses AI, and we're a small nonprofit with 6 staff, and we've used it many times to help us with marketing and communications questions. I've had job interviews where, how many times have we interviewed candidates for jobs, and I'm like, what do we ask these people? And we put it in the chat GPT or Copilot, and it comes up with some questions that we can ask during interviews. There's little things that you can do to save yourself a ton of time. So the Meeta and the speakers you have today, think about that when you hear what they're presenting. So Meeta, it's all yours.
My name is Meeta Parekh. I am the owner of TeamLogicIT. We provide IT services, and that can go from hardware, cybersecurity, putting a network, firewalls, to coming back with AI stuff, right? How can we get software requests, hardware requests, and how to help with all of that? So that's about my business. I'm going to kick off with introductions with the rest of our panel, and I will give it to Bill first, and then we can. Okay, perfect. And then we can pass the mic.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say they've done an incredible job here with this venue. So kudos to the staff here and Chris's vision, whatever. Beautiful place. And I also want to thank my fellow panelists here. You have 3 award-winning companies, 4 actually, that have won awards for the services that we provide. And they're great people, great organizations. I'm glad to be a part of this group. I'm CEO, owner of Alpine Business Systems here, been in business 37 years, and we provide IT services, focus on security, reliability, and performance across all the IT needs that you have.
Hi everyone. My name is Leonard Melnik. I'm with EisnerAmper. We're a huge firm, but we have a very strong division for MSP, Microsoft Service Provider, IT support, network, cybersecurity, all that of the sort. My specialization is software development and specifically with AI development, so integrating AI into our software. Very excited to share that, and if you have any questions, I'll be hanging around after. I have quite a lot of time here since I commute from pretty far away.
Good morning, everyone. Mike Bloomfield, President Geek of Tekie Geek. We are the IT superheroes of cybersecurity. We try to make IT fun. And we were ranked in the top 20 managed service providers in the country this year by Channel Pro magazine.
So we'll talk a little bit about AI and we'll break it down and want to know everything from when we start to how it will end up, right? If we're not on the wave, are we missing out on something, taking advantage of it? And so we want to hear it all. Starting with you, Bill, I'll ask for general impact and ethics, right? So how do you see AI reshaping industries in the next 5 years? And what are the biggest opportunities and risks we should be expecting?
Thank you. I believe that it is more impactful than electricity was, and that's just not my opinion. It's a multi-use technology. It's already been woven into the fabric of our lives. We're still trying to figure out how to use it, understand it. I say it's sort of like if Henry Ford was able to, instead of having to manufacture cars, drop 10 million cars down in the neighborhoods and front lawns of people, and you look at this thing, you say, how do you use it? What am I supposed to do with it? So we're at the very beginnings of how we're going to be able to capture this technology and use it in every single aspect of our life and therefore every single aspect of business. In terms of an impact, I don't believe it's going to replace people in any way, shape, or form, but it will allow people to be better at what they do, the tasks that they perform, and be more productive and creative and all of that. But the people who don't use it, I believe, are definitely going to be left behind, and that's going to be a big impact. In terms of the ethics and all of that, well, now we're talking geopolitics and whatever. We're in a war for dominance in AI. Putin said several years ago that the country that dominates AI will dominate the world, okay? So we've got several adversaries out there. Let's be clear. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. Some of them are friendly adversaries and some of them are serious adversaries. And they're all using it and they're all developing it. It wasn't until 2014 when China actually woke up, when Google beat their best AlphaGo player, which is like a 3-dimensional chess game, and then they invested in it. So we have to be very careful about that. We have to get good at it, and I think it's a moral imperative for every single one of us to begin using it to promote the values that we have in our country.
I do believe that we need to optimize our tools, right? If we're not with it, we're going to be left behind. The sooner we learn to use it, even the sooner we'll be able to get. Moving on to you, Leonard. Thank you again. Data and privacy, these are concerns of many of the companies, right? Everybody wants to protect their data. Ensure that as AI takes over, what happens to my data? So data is crucial, and so is privacy. How can companies find a balance between leveraging user data and maintaining?
So what first comes to mind is a lot about it is bias. A lot of people worry that AI, it has biases. It can discriminate, it can prioritize the wrong things and do everything of the sort. And the way that I like to think about it is AI is very similar to a person. We train AI with weights to be able to make the right decisions. And if it can identify certain patterns that we may not want it to identify, or certain things that aren't really determining but can go to other things, it will use that information. And that's just how it works. If you train a person the same way, they'll give you similar results. So a lot of the key when it comes to specifically prevent biases and other stuff like that is you want to make sure that data is excluded. If you're presenting something in front of a panel of judges and you don't want them to judge you on something, don't present that to them. If you're, and I don't know if you guys have used ChatGPT before, but sometimes you can use 1 or 2 wrong keywords and it takes your request and misinterprets it entirely, and so you got to be like, no, don't do that. Do this instead. And that's basically a lot of it. You don't want to provide it what you don't want it to use. So in terms of security and privacy, if you're using it to generate memos and everything else, that's great. You can do that. You can provide your financial information for some cases, but maybe social security numbers aren't needed. Maybe passports aren't needed. Try to limit what you put in. And the healthcare industry has done this quite well with the PHI regulations, right? You have to de-identify the data so it can't be pinpointed to a specific person. A lot of companies, when ChatGPT first came out, were like, hey, don't use this. And they were right. The public version of ChatGPT initially and a lot of other AIs will take what you give it and use that to produce further output. Not to mention also uses everything else on the internet. But the whole point is that sometimes stuff that you put in, other people can get out depending on the models. So something that's really, really important, first off, for privacy is to make sure that you're using something commercial. Because when you're using a commercial version of something instead of a personal, they normally will satisfy commercial demands. So for example, ChatGPT has a version that is meant for corporations, where all the data is sort of secured in your own model. It doesn't go anywhere else. No one else can see that. And that's really what should be done. In terms of privacy, it goes the same for everywhere else. If you have a corporate-wide model that you use, you shouldn't ingest customers' emails and personal information in there that only certain employees can see. It's basically, you should think about it just regular file sharing, the same way that you do everything in current company, emails, access. It should be thought of the same way. And in terms of security, it depends. AI can go a lot of ways via security, but I think the security we're talking about here is more of it giving the wrong information to the wrong person, or not giving people who need it the correct information. And that you really approach just like you approach anything else. I think that's it. Yeah.
So would you say that the onus is on us to make sure that we don't feed it incorrectly? Think about a robot, for lack of better word, that would be like a robot. And so you're not feeding incorrect information, because garbage in, garbage out, would that be honest?
Yeah, I really like cybersecurity and the sort of model that people will take the path of least resistance. So I'm of the firmer belief that instead of sort of telling people not to do something, you make that the hardest path to do. Make the easiest path the one that you want them to go down. So, yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
Thank you very much. To you, Mike. So real world application, right? So could you share examples of AI indicators that you think are game changing? Right.
Excuse me. Sure. So, first off, how many people here have ever been on a website and used the chat at the bottom? Almost everybody. So you go a couple of years ago, you did that chat, you were speaking to a real person. Now, since the introduction of AI, most AI are AI chat box. It allows for an individual to go ahead, be on a website, select that chat option, and have a real-world conversation with an AI model that 9 out of 10 times is going to be able to solve your problem. If you're having an issue on Amazon and you're looking to track that package or open up the ticket to see why that delivery occurred, A human being doesn't have to do that. So as a consumer, you're able to be satisfied instantly, and they're able to do that without paying a resource to do it. Well, you're paying a resource because there's a cost to AI, and there's definitely a cost to the scalability and the infrastructure and the amount of electricity that goes into compute, but you are not paying an individual to do it. You're not worrying about that person taking off of work, workers' comp insurance, 401k payments, and all of that. One thing I will, disagree with Bill in the terms of, will AI replace people? AI will absolutely replace low-level employees, but it's going to create higher-paying jobs. So, and we're already seeing that in college education. There's already courses on Google and AI and chatbot prompting with speaking with these language models, with starting salaries at $175,000 if you go and learn how to communicate with AI in a way that is powerful. So I think we will see some lower level employees and humans be replaced, but it's going to pave the way for the higher paying jobs that we know the younger generation all wants, right? We all know the younger generation wants to just come in anyway, make 6 figures and have unlimited vacation. So we'll at least be able to give them that higher paying job.
Set my timer and make sure I don't go overtime. Thank you. So I have a couple questions. How many people in the room are business owners? Okay. How many people in the room are actually team leaders in their business? And who uses AI every single day, probably 10, 15 times a day? The answer to that is yes. We've all been using it. It's all around us. It's in the computers, smartphones, everywhere. And then how many people actually use Copilot on a regular basis? Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Microsoft Copilot and how we use it, and hopefully I have a couple takeaways for you. When Microsoft polled several thousand people who had been using Copilot, this is important for business owners and team leaders and people who hire people. 96% said they would be disappointed if they lost access to it. 83% never want to go back to not using it. And almost half of them said that it is going to be a criteria for which they use to choose their employer in the future. So that's kind of a wake-up call for the people who hire individuals. We've always talked about people and technology. These are, platitudes we hear all the time. People plus technology is going to create efficiencies, productivity, quality, creativeness, and all that stuff. Well, the fact of the matter, it's been true since the dawn of time. We've seen some of these slides here where, how long did it take for mobile phones and how long did it take for this? ChatGPT built up pretty rapidly, right? But the impact on the global GDP from technology has been incredibly real. So we got the printing press over there around 1450, right? And the global GDP was that. And as we added additional technologies, it's definitely a hockey stick up in terms of GDP and productivity on the world global level. So in the past, we've had search machines, right? Which takes publicly available data, everything on the internet that Google would, go out and scrub all those websites and whatever. And then you add some artificial intelligence to that, which Google's had for many, many years. I mean, Google has built AI, Apple's built AI into their products for probably 20 years now. And it takes you into these rabbit holes, right? And it gives you all these websites that you can go and continue to go down these rabbit holes to try and find the answers that you need. And it's not conversation at all. It's just a kind of a one-way street here. Whereas today we have answer machines, not search machines, answer machines that enhance our abilities. We get actionable information, relevant data very quickly, real-time navigation. I mean, I use Waze all the time. In fact, now there's a backlash. People are saying too many people are using Waze because you're seeing people having traffic jams using Waze. I saw one last night that I was in the midst of. It wasn't a jam, but there was a line of cars, and I said, I bet you they're all using Waze. because it was taking me down some very strange roads here. And then accurate weather forecasts we have today. I don't know if you realize it or not, but the storms that hit recently down in the Gulf and up to Florida and Appalachia, the weather predictors said that they have never been able to predict things as accurately as that. Now, the next thing, something like that, is a civic responsibility now that if they can share that data fast enough and get the message out to people, this thing can actually save lives, and it already has. So we don't even realize kind of behind the scenes, very subtly, these things are working. Obviously, self-driving cars are safer and more efficient, without a doubt. And then the AI not only enhances our cognitive abilities, but it surpasses it in many ways. We beat Jeopardy and chess and AlphaGo years ago, and they now, with standardized tests and bar exams, you can't tell that it's not a human being to be able to do that. It's pretty incredible stuff. But if you look at the personalized AI, as someone said before, you need to work with the AI as a human being. Just like when you work with other human beings, it's a back and forth, it's conversational. They understand things, and we don't even understand how they understand it sometimes. But by that constant iteration, and that's what I mean by, I think there's an individual imperative as well as a moral imperative to make sure that we continue to do this, and we continue to do it on a regular basis and learn this stuff. Because, as we said, somebody said before, it requires very good prompting. I think Leonard said that, garbage in, garbage out, and I think Meeta said the same thing. Just like when you're working with somebody, you want to provide them with the information so that they can be productive in a team setting. I want to ask good questions. You want to get good answers. And you need to relate to it as a person, but you also need to be polite and considerate. And the Microsoft engineers don't even know how this happens, but it understands sentiment. So there's companies now that are, with large call centers, are taking the recordings of those calls, and they're putting them into an AI, and it's assessing the sentiment of the caller and being able to put that into, to identify callers who are not happy so they can address them individually and whatever. And the other thing is, it'll tell when you're being angry or argumentative or not being a nice person. 15 years ago, so when Siri came out, I jumped on it, and my iPhone, and I was talking to Siri in the kitchen, and I asked her some questions. And after 3 or 4 prompts, I wasn't getting the answer I needed. So I turned to my wife and I said, she has no idea what I'm talking about. And Siri immediately came back and said, Bill, I'm only trying to help. I looked at my phone, I looked at my wife, and I said, we are in a new world. We're not in Kansas City. The greatest impacts of all this are going to be in healthcare, drug discovery, healthcare, and certainly education. I have some tricked out hearing aids that I purchased because my hearing's been damaged over the course of my life for several things I've done. And it is absolutely amazing. It has changed the quality of my life in social settings. So these kind of things, healthcare, drug discoveries, they're discovering drugs now using the AIs that are actually curing diseases. And yesterday, I know somebody who went to Sloan Kettering, and they actually had to fill out a survey whether you would be comfortable with an AI reading your charts, reading your scans, and providing information to the doctors. So there's a lot around this, around ethics and privacy, as Leonard said, but this is here now. And that's the first time I heard about that yesterday, is that these healthcare companies are actually going full bore and getting permission from the patients to be able to use this. Now, there's many AIs out there. These are all the companies that are providing AIs in various silos and whatever. And what I want to talk about is, what is AI? Okay, what are the components? So if you look on the left-hand side there, you take a large data set, and by the way, Copilot and DALL-E created that for me. I asked it to do it in the style of Vincent van Gogh. And so you take a large data set, you throw it into a large language model, you add natural language processing, machine learning. Okay, enough tech talk, okay? Understand that there's a lot going on behind the scenes here, okay? It takes a lot of power, as we another big thing that we're talking about on the world stage, because I don't know if you saw, but Microsoft is lighting up the 3 Mile Island nuclear plant and buying all of the power from there to power their data centers. This is an incredibly resource intensive activity here, but it's transformative. It is the greatest tech we've ever developed, and it sits on top of all the other things, electricity and whatever. It's going to have a bigger impact than electricity. It's not my opinion. That's the opinion of some way smarter than me. And it's already changed life as we know it, and it'll continue to do that in ways we can't even imagine. So I want to talk a little bit more right now on Copilot and exactly what it is. Now, there's many Copilots. Microsoft has a whole suite of them. But you can start with the free Copilot, if anybody's using that. I saw several hands come up. I recommend everybody put it on your phone and start talking to it every day. Anytime you have a question about anything, just put it into there. I do it all day long, and some of the answers are absolutely amazing. The nice thing about it, though, is that it just doesn't give you random stuff. Sometimes it does, based on your prompt, as Leonard said, garbage in, garbage out. But the amazing thing is that it gives you the footnotes of where it found that information. So I encourage, if there's one takeaway here, start using it. This is a very easy, simple way of doing it. Put it on your phone, you open it up, you have a question about something, and I found it answers probably 95% of everything accurately. There's also something at Microsoft called Copilot Lab. You can search for that. It's on the Microsoft site, and you can learn how to prompt. You can learn a whole lot of things about how to use not only Copilot, but AI in general. Copilot for Microsoft 365 is the one I'm going to focus on because there's many Microsoft Copilots. The one Microsoft 365 is built into all of the Microsoft apps. Anybody using Microsoft Copilot for M365 buying that $30 a month license? Yeah, few people. Yeah, it's game changing in a lot of ways. And what it does is it takes the Microsoft 365 apps, it takes what they call a graph, which is all your data at Microsoft 365, puts it into that large language model and spins it all around. And as Leonard said, there's a lot of privacy, security, everything around there. What you have to do, as Leonard said, is make sure that the data you have is well organized and well secured so that if somebody goes to use it in your organization, they don't have access to something they shouldn't have access to. So if you have data squirreled away somewhere, like the bonuses this year for all the executive staff in a spreadsheet sitting somewhere, if that's exposed to the graph and people actually have permission to get to it, all they have to do is prompt and say, hey, I'd like to know what all the bonuses for the executives were last year. And before you know it, there it is. So you've got to do some things to prepare for it. But again, start small, take small steps, put it on your phone and start using it. So Copilot for Microsoft 365 uses the data from the web. It also uses your own data, the Microsoft 365 data that you have. So I want to talk about how we use it in my company. The executive leadership, we get better answers quicker. We've been using it for a year since it came out. I polled my teams and asked them, better answers quicker. We have creative ideas. It does emails and email summaries. It does Teams meeting summaries. It gives us action items. Teams Premium will give you personal coaching. You turn on personal coaching, and it has improved my public speaking skills dramatically over the past 2 years since I started using it. It'll tell you your pace should slow down. You should put some emotion into it, right? And you should not use filler words. And it'll tell you every single time you did that. So you can actually have your own private, personalized speaker coach. My engineers, they use it to create documentation quicker, better than they ever did. How-tos, if they can't figure out how to do something, they put it into Copilot. Most of the time, they come up with the right answers much quicker than ever before. And then, as Leonard is a programmer here, he understands that programming and scripting. Why did Microsoft spend $13 billion for OpenAI with an exclusive license to use the technology? Because it writes software. And what does Microsoft do? They write software. Customer support. Our customer support teams use it for metrics, data analytics, figuring out what needs to be done when, efficiencies, obviously, and dispatch and all that, and obviously to get some better customer satisfaction, which at the end of the day is the outcomes we want. Marketing and sales, we create newsletters, emails. This presentation was assisted with using Copilot, especially a lot of the graphics. The CFO and the shareholders use it for business intelligence, the shareholder being me, and my CFO use it for business intelligence, forecasting, and a lot of financial stuff. Everybody here uses Outlook, I would assume, right? Just about, right? We'll use Outlook. I'm just going to play a little video here from Microsoft for a little less than a minute on how you can use it in Outlook. About we use this all the time. When obviously many of us are conflicted in meetings and we have 2 meetings at the same time, you follow that meeting, you'll get the meeting notes, you'll get summaries. If they allow you, you can get recordings and the entire transcript. You can listen to it later. So the ability to consume information is not necessarily tied to a space and time anymore. You can use it in Word. Give you a little video on what Microsoft provides there. Yeah, I use it all the time. We're in the midst of 2 or 3 AI projects now for clients, and we pull all this information together, throw it into a Word document. It'll organize it, it'll summarize it, it'll fix it up. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And then in Excel, this gets a little deeper than my knowledge of finance and whatever, but I'll share this with you as well.
How do you need to export to sell yourselves? Start by asking for
prompts. They're going to use whatever you put into it to help train the model. Okay. When you use the $30 version, okay, or even the personal version, which is cheaper, that you pay extra for, just like with ChatGPT, you get extra features and benefits, just like anything else in technology. You can listen to music for free, but if you want ads, you have to pay a little. If you don't want ads, you have to pay a little bit. Understand that the free version, you are at risk of some of the data being exposed to the model, okay? But once you use the Microsoft Copilot and you're paying them for it, that data resides and stays within your model. It does not get exposed. So the first step, you want to, obviously, if you want to use it yourself and you have access, then you everything in your, you can begin to use the Copilot for Microsoft 5. But before you begin to expose that, as Leonard said before, to the other employees and to other people, you need to assess and secure your data. So those large language models that Microsoft had, Copilot, takes all of your data, puts it into that large language model. You have to ensure that that's secured and permissioned correctly. And that's one of the things that we do. We do a lot of that right now. Exactly at 20 years. Nice job. So hopefully, if you have any questions, you can use an hour at the end. I think set up the meeting.
I think we'll have to.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
While Bill's switching out, I can share a little story. So Bill, I've worked with Bill since I've been here at the partnership. Our first IT event at the partnership when I got here was how to put apps on your first smartphone. So we've come a long way.
Okay.
That's aging both of us, Bill. I apologize. But, we definitely have come a long way.
Had hair and the white.
Yeah.
While I'm getting set up here, I don't know if you guys, when you use ChatGPT, you see it say occasionally, updated. I mean, it's remembering something. And something my girlfriend sent yesterday in the group chat was she logged into my ChatGPT and asked it, draw me an image that represents me. And it generates something and does something artistic. And it's funny how every single prompt that you put in here, there, and it'll draw something abstract for you. So it might be interesting to look into that and see what it draws for you. Yep. Good. All right. So good morning, everyone. I'm excited to present Supercharging Automation with AI from Rules to Intelligence. While the other talks are talking about how you yourself can utilize AI and the different ways it can benefit you, I'm going to try to focus more on how that AI can be used within automations to sort of enhance workflows that already don't have people involved, to let them do more. So just a brief agenda. We're going to talk about what is automation, for those of you that don't know, some challenges that come up with traditional automation, and then some AI-powered solutions and real-world examples, and takeaways and Q&A. Feel free to jot down any questions. My presentation should be a little shorter, so we should have time for questions, and if not, after everyone finishes. So just to get started, what exactly is automation? At its core, automation is simply using technology to perform tasks with minimal to no human input. So traditional automation typically relies on predefined rules and instructions, a way to handle repetitive tasks and follow predictable patterns. It's really important to note that, yes, some jobs will not be available because AI will do them. But it's not about replacing people. It's about enhancing the work that those people can do, turning them into higher level employees, roles, and everything of the sort. So it's about freeing us from the tasks that drain time and energy. When we automate the mundane, we give people more time to focus on creativity, problem solving, sales, and other strategic activities that really an AI can, and let automations do what automations do better. Assembly line stuff. When you think of a car, assembling a car, who's going to do that better? A huge robot arm that can repeat the same process to a millimeter, or a guy? So to keep things straightforward, I'm just going to use an example that I'm sure everyone encounters, which is customer inquiries. They come in through different channels, your website, phone calls, forms, emails, and each one requires attention. Handling customer inquiries is effective because it's crucial for customer satisfaction, loyalty, and as well, new customers coming in. Responding quickly, accurately, and personally can make a big difference, but it's also time consuming and repetitive, which is why it's a great candidate for automation. So using customer inquiries as our example, let's break down the process. In the manual process with no automation, an employee has to check the inbox, and all inboxes if you use multiple channels, route each email to the correct department, send follow-ups, and not just that, what are they sending? Well, they either have to write each email from scratch or have to copy from templates. And I'm sure everyone here has written a word wrong, copied the wrong section, missed out something else. It's very prone to errors. With traditional automation, you can remove that middleman process. So inquiries can be instantly responded to if they're of a certain kind. If they have a product order, you can automatically respond with, here's additional tracking information if you need more, contact us here. And this was sort of like the early generation of chatbots. They can instantly route to the correct department, and reminders, surveys, tracking is all automatically done. You don't have to be, oops, I forgot to follow up with this client, and now it's week 2. So it's fast, efficient, and reliable. As we move forward, I'd like you to take a moment to just reflect on your own processes in your business. Think about the tasks in your workflow that feel repetitive, or things that your employees do that feel repetitive. The ones that require a lot of manual effort but don't really feel like they should. Imagine what your team could accomplish if those tasks were automated. How much time could you save, and what could they focus on instead? So we're going to take a look at the traditional automation in this customer inquiry example. So we have a basic inquiry form that asks a user to choose a department from a dropdown. The process is pretty straightforward for this. User fills out their name, their email, they choose a department, they type in the inquiry. With traditional automation, the setup is kind of perfect. The person selects a department, and that's the department you send the email to. Pretty simple. No manual automation needed. There's no employee that has to come in and see, hey, route to this department, forward the email there. The second example is using keyword analysis, which is still available with traditional automation. So in this case, the form doesn't have a department dropdown. Instead, the user just types in their inquiry, and the automation steps in by identifying specific keywords within their message. For instance, if the user's message contains the word invoice, it can route them to billing, technical support to IT, meeting to sales, job to HR. And again, this is where traditional automation works really well. But here's an example where it fails. Imagine a user submitted the inquiry of, I downloaded an invoice, but it won't open. I keep getting a file error. Can you help? So traditional automation would see the word invoice and would route them to billing. And I'm sure this has happened a couple of times on the phone or everything else to you guys. So that's wrong. That's not what should have happened. The user needs IT support. But without understanding intent and the context of these keywords, it goes the wrong place and the automation will misroute it. So let's just take a quick look at the journey from manual, traditional automation to AI-enhanced automation. In the manual process, tasks require a lot of time and tasks that require a constant human oversight, consume a lot of time and energy, are prone to errors and inconsistencies. Then comes traditional automation, which improves efficiency by following strict rules. But it's limited to these predefined strict rules. If they use a word that you didn't type in manually means something else, it's not going to know what to do. And it also can't adapt to fill in gaps when unexpected issues arise. We're not perfect. What if I misspell the word invoice? Not going to know what to do there. So finally, we have AI-enhanced automation, which brings powerful capabilities. First of all, it understands intent, and it can interpret and understand the context of a request rather than just following strict rules. You know how someone can say something angrily or kindly, or the tone changes what they mean. This is important when dealing with customers and for understanding what they actually need. So secondly, AI can handle unstructured data. So you can literally just give it an email, as you can see, images, even audio, allowing us to automate tasks that previously you couldn't. You couldn't just have it read the audio file and ask it to do this and that. Third off, AI does scale with ease. Yes, it costs a lot in terms of resources, but for your business, there's not a lot of extra infrastructure that needs to be added. You just pay the AI bill. These capabilities make AI-powered automation a true game changer, moving beyond the limits of traditional methods and unlocking new potential for efficiency and impact. So I just wanted to visualize how AI can be added to any process to make it better. We already talked about how AI can understand the meaning behind customer inquiries, making sure they get to the right place. But this idea can apply to almost any part of a business. Adding AI to automations doesn't just make them faster, it makes them smarter. AI can help improve accuracy, handle more complex tasks that you couldn't do before, and do them easier to implement too, which means greater productivity overall and smoother workflows. Yeah. So how far can AI enhance automation go? This greatly varies based on your business, and your business can have specific needs. These are like pretty generic examples that I think can apply to almost everybody. So AI-driven lead scoring and enrichment can improve sales efficiency and drive revenue. So for example, based on a customer inquiry, AI can automatically understand what their industry is. Are they looking to buy? Are they not looking to buy? Do they need help? And it can extract all this additional data that can help you with what you need, where you need to step in. You can do AI-powered responses to customer inquiries. So based on, I've gotten some personalized emails that I thought were personalized, but were really AI written. And initially I thought it was really, really kind, and then I realized it was AI written, a little less so, but still better than just a generic email. So content creation for social media or blog posts keeps your customers engaged and up to date with your brand. And I think that's something where a lot of people are using it nowadays. Help me write emails, help me write blog posts. There are better and better AIs coming out for content creation for videos, audio, pictures, that sort of helps companies that may not have the people specific to do it or have the resources go further. So they're not just time savers, they're opportunities for you to actually increase the impact that you can do. So this is why AI matters. With AI, you can eliminate repetitive tasks, reduce errors, and scale effortlessly, and let your team focus on meaningful work. It's more than just automation. It's about creating real opportunities for growth that couldn't be done before. So just to do a quick recap, we looked at the evolution of automation, starting with traditional automations that focus on rules and repetitive tasks. But these methods struggle when it comes to unstructured data. Then we moved to AI-powered automations and saw how it breaks free of those rigid rules. AI interprets intent, handles complexity, and adapts dynamically to change. There are some real-world applications too that vary based on your business, but it can almost plug in anywhere to give you more data, more efficiency, allow you to do things you couldn't do before, or get more out of processes than you could get before. So, as I said, AI doesn't just automate, it frees up valuable time, reduces errors, and lets you focus on the tasks that drive real growth. Looking at your business, what specific tasks or processes do you think could benefit most from AI, automation, and then the mix of the two? And how might those free up time or resources to do more strategic work? That's it.
Yeah, well, now we have another pot of coffee coming out, water in the fridge. If anyone while Mike's setting up, wants the restroom, maybe if I can finish. It's a setup.
Is Eggs Benedict coming? I heard we have Eggs Benedict this morning.
You're at the wrong event, huh?
You gotta ask AI, that's first quarter budget.
Oh, thank you.
That's the time.
Yeah.
While everyone's taking a minute here, I'll give you at the end. A couple of, actually today, this afternoon, we have Jointures ribbon cutting. We have ribbon cutting tomorrow and ribbon cutting Saturday. For those of you who were at our monthly members meeting yesterday, I consistently say this. Ribbon cutting events are a very underutilized way to meet business owners and to build relationships. Unlike most of our other events, the time, I think, is the most valuable asset for all of us, is quite minimal. So at ribbon cutting, you can be in and out in 15 minutes. There's generally free food, and generally you get to meet the owner of a company who might not be there at an event otherwise. So, when you're looking at our calendar of events coming up, really look at the ribbon cutting as a way to kind of build relationships, and the time commitment is much less than what you're doing today and otherwise. So, we got a couple of those events coming up. We're going to have a couple of events at the beginning of December that lead us to annual meeting. And we're going to have a huge bump in January. Does anybody, anybody at their organization have any events they'd like to about in a timely fashion. I should.
I'm wondering a drive for 20. Some of if any would like to go. Not over 21.
That's Randlaw.
Ramlock, sorry.
Thank you. So we are going to do AI, your new marketing superpower, and we're going to unleash the potential of ChatGPT. So we spoke about ChatGPT today. We've spoken about Copilot. The important thing to remember about both of them is they are both created on top of the OpenAI model, which Bill spoke about, right? Microsoft went and purchased, investing in the OpenAI for the exclusivity, but there's two. There's ChatGPT and there's Copilot, and they are different. And the reason we're going to talk about ChatGPT is has anyone here used ChatGPT? Who here has used Copilot? Has anyone found one to be more creative than the other? So, in my opinion, ChatGPT is much more creative in terms of marketing tasks. So, I love Copilot for a lot of efficiencies, Outlook, Teams, meetings, review. But once I want to do something with creativity and marketing, me and my team tend to switch over to ChatGPT because we have found that to be more creative, even though it's using the same language model. The ChatGPT engine and the Copilot engine are slightly different, so you will get different data. So I'm going to focus on ChatGPT. So AI is transforming marketing. It's changing how businesses are engaging with their audience. I have two marketing members here, the two Julias, we call them here. And for the past year and a half, they've been using ChatGPT and AI on a daily basis. And it's because it's the power of AI. AI came up, back in a year and a half ago. Oh, actually 2 years ago now, November, and it became the TI-83. I'm old. I'm 41. But if anyone remembers being in high school and the fight came on, you can't use the calculator during the test, right? The TI-83 calculator was the big one. You're never going to have a calculator in your pocket. I have a computer in my pocket. You're right. But here we are, and this is the AI movement. We're kind of seeing the same thing. When it first came out, ChatGPT, a lot of organizations were afraid, and especially with education and higher education, they're afraid of it, without realizing that it's not here, like we spoke about. It's not going to replace people. Certain positions, I feel it will, but it's going to create new opportunities. But AI is a tool, and it's how you use it as a tool. And over the years, people are starting to realize by using the tool in the right manner, it's really helping with efficiency. It's allowing my team members to use it and automate repetitive tasks and analyze data faster. It's allowing them to go into ChatGPT, and something that would have taken them 2 to 3 hours a week, they could complete in 5 minutes. Well, if they could complete that in 5 minutes, what could they do in the 2 to 3 hours that was used to be done doing this repetitive task over and over? So we're recreating the efficiency. It's the relevance. We're now delivering tailored content and experience that truly resonates with your audience. With ChatGPT, we are going into it, and when we're doing a presentation, so we have an event coming up on December 10th on security cameras and with AI, but we have to get that messaging out to the audience the demographic we're going to. Well, we're able to put that information in the ChatGPT, tell it the audience that we're looking for, feed it a list, give it some information about the event we're holding, and ChatGPT comes back with the information. Hey, here's how we recommend you market this. We recommend you create a landing page. Here's the messaging for that landing page. Here's your email dripping, your email campaign that you should give out and send to this audience that we've taken from your CRM and looked at the people that we feel would be a right fit for this event. So it's giving us relevant data. It's giving us the ability to personalize information. We're all very creative, but AI is trained to be extremely creative. So it allows you to take those ideas and feed it into and use AI to create more meaningful connections with customers at scale. A perfect example of that is last Christmas, we are the IT superheroes of cybersecurity. We try to brand ourselves to be fun and Star Wars, Marvel. Well, I asked ChatGPT to write a Happy Holidays poem about Tekie Geek in the form of using Star Wars characters. And within seconds, I had a poem that I was able to have us throw up on Facebook or Instagram that actually was using Star Wars characters talking about our business because ChatGPT understands and knows about our business. So it allows us to personalize the data and make it more fun. So why does this matter for you? AI is already driving smarter, more effective marketing strategies across industries. And there are certain tools that you have to understand. We are starting to recognize AI. So if you've ever been on Facebook or saw someone's Facebook post and it has some text, an emoji, some text, an emoji, some text, an emoji, some text, it's probably AI. And that's why we're going to talk about it's important to tailor and personalize that yourself. AI, you shouldn't just take what AI gives you and spit it out. It should be your starting point. By embracing these tools, you can improve the efficiency, creativity, and customer engagement that your brand and competitive edge needs. So why are we using ChatGPT? It saves time, it cuts costs, and enhances creativity. So the key benefits are the speed and efficiency that we're going to get into for fast content creation, creativity for fresh ideas, some unique content, and consistency to keep your brand and voice aligned. So how are we using ChatGPT? Some examples. Brainstorming ideas. Previously, we used to go and write, you would get 4 to 5 employees into a room. Think of how much time and cost that was to a business owner, and you would sit at a whiteboard and try to brainstorm. Well, now you could brainstorm with ChatGPT. You could give it what you're planning to do, and ChatGPT is going to throw these ideas out you in seconds. Its ability to get keywords and trending phases to boost engagement. So you could ask ChatGPT, what are those key hashtags? What is trending right now? What should I be focusing on? I want to put a TikTok video up. How many people here are using TikTok for their business? You should be. But we want to put a TikTok video up, and I want it to be relevant and maybe have a chance to go viral. What are those viral trends that are occurring right now? Don't subway surf, but there are the ones we could do. And then drafting content. ChatGPT is excellent at drafting and creating drafts for blogs, captions, emails, landing pages. But just like that, it's a starting point. If my marketing team was just taking the content spit out from ChatGPT and posting that up, then there really would be no need for a marketing team. But that's not what they're doing with it. They're using it to get them past that hurdle. It's using it to, instead of that first hour of really thinking and writing, they're able to go on ChatGPT. They understand how to prompt ChatGPT to get what they want out of it, and that is now their starting point. So writing a blog post that would have used to take Julia 4 to 5 hours, she's now able to do in 30 minutes to an hour, and get more personalized blog post and then modify that. An important thing of making sure there's truth in that blog post, because that is one thing we spoke about, both Bill and Leonard, is the truth and the bias behind ChatGPT. So it's understanding that it is AI, it's teaching you what it's been trained on. So it's important that you do go ahead and make sure the information it's giving you is truthful, because it loves to give you stats. Just because it gives you a stat doesn't mean that stat is accurate. So taking that research to go ahead and say, okay, it's telling me 94% of businesses will close after a data breach. Is that true? So doing some research and don't just spit that information out. And then it allows you to tailor prompts for different styles. So you're able to communicate with the AI engine and say, I want this email to be friendlier. I want this landing page to be fun and inviting because we're trying to get people to an event. And it will actually take what you're asking for. Like Bill, I've had many fights with ChatGPT. It loves to argue with you. If you tell it you're upset, it'll start going back at you. It can get snippy. It's an AI model. I asked it if it was going to become Skynet. It promised me it was not going to kill us all, but that's yet to be unseen. Refining editing. So it's able to polish tone. That is a perfect example of what we use in our organization for marketing and even everyday communication. I'm sure you've all had that example where a client emailed you and you were replying. And in your head, you thought you were replying very professionally and you weren't getting defensive because they were upset and you're answering back. ChatGPT is excellent and allowing you to feed, and also Copilot, but to feed that email and say, help me to rewrite this in a more professional manner, take the defensiveness out of it, clean up the tone on this email. And it's amazing at doing that. And it will go ahead and make sure you're communicating more properly and more professionally, and take some of that tone that we have as humans that sometimes we don't realize we're doing. And it's excellent at fixing grammar and rephrasing. It's excellent at quickly cleaning up and enhancing the existing content you have in there. So some real world applications is AI is being used in marketing in ways that we are reshaping how we connect with audiences. ChatGPT is helping businesses automate the content creation, saving time, imagine, and allowing you to free up hours spent brainstorming or editing, like we spoke about. Then, there's various AI tools that are seeing action and that, we want to try. So there's examples now. We use a service called Design Pickle for a lot of our content creation. With Design Pickle, there is Zapier plugins. So we're able to, if we have a new client submit information, it'll actually go ahead and hit a zap in the Design Pickle and create and request an email and a graphic to be created. So you could now integrate various forms of tools together. Anyone here using Canva, pretty much everyone uses Canva now, has AI in there that you're able to quickly go ahead and create images. Bill mentioned DALL-E, which is the ChatGPT version, and it's getting incredible on what it's capable of now, especially with the video aspect of AI generation. And with anything, there's a tool, and it's understanding there are risks. That's something that we didn't really talk about, and we spoke about privacy issues between the three of us, but there is some real risk in AI, especially when it comes to scamming. And we've seen an increase in scams because with an AI, you could load it some audio and then it could actually speak like a person, create a fake video, an AI video that looks like a person. So it's helping to scam people out of lots of money. If we all remember the Prince of Persia emails we used to get 10 years ago, those emails now are they're written much better. They sound like they're coming from someone in the United States. So now it's making you really think, oh, is there money for me to be got? I just had a very successful business owner reach out to me because he was an AI scam, thought he was someone had passed away and left him money. And he truly believed it because when you read the emails, it's really communicating with him and it's going back and forth. So there are some major risks with this. So I wanted to do a live demo, but the one thing any IT professional will tell you is a live demo never goes well. So we're going to talk about it. So blog post ideas. So if you're ever stuck on a content idea, you can ask ChatGPT for blog ideas. So example of simple prompts are, hey, I need AI tools for small businesses. And ChatGPT will go ahead and tell you, hey, here's some tools, AI tools that you should be using, and give you summaries on how to use it. You can ask it, how can AI help automate marketing? ChatGPT loves to help integrate itself. We spoke about programming and scripting. ChatGPT will help you to program the chatbot that'll run on your own website. It was excellent at doing that. You could literally go to ChatGPT and say, I would like to implement a chatbot on my website, and it will go ahead and give you the scripting. It'll ask you the questions needed. It'll ask you to begin training it on the model, and it'll actually help you to implement and integrate that into your website, making it extremely easy. Another perfect example is Instagram captions. We use it a lot for our Instagram captions. If you need a catchy caption, ask ChatGPT, write a caption for AI marketing tool post. It might generate unlock the future of marketing with AI, rocket ship, boost efficiency, and engage your audience, and give you some hashtags. Next, one thing that I'm sure everyone realizes, it loves emojis. And then AI takes personalization to the next level. It allows you to segment your audience by analyzing your customer behavior to segment your audience. For example, a fitness store can segment out customers by interest like running or yoga, tailoring the messages accordingly. So ChatGPT could go and see who signed into which classes and tell the business owner, yes, these are the people who like yoga. Let's sell them some yoga mats and start marketing to them on yoga mats. Let's let them know we have an upcoming special schedule coming out for the classes. So ChatGPT is able to look at all of this data and help to segment the audience. Personalized messaging, it can send out custom offers based on actions. Think like when you go on Netflix and it recommends a movie. These are all AI handling that. It's able to see what you've watched, see what you've not liked. How does it know what you're not liked? Well, you start that movie and 10 minutes later you hit the stop button and get out. That's a perfect example that was something you weren't interested in. Also, now the AI could look to see what actors are in that movie. What's the movie about? What was the rating? And now learn about you and say, okay, here's movies you will actually like, which is why you'll probably find the recommended list is actually improving as we move on through the years. And you're really finding movies that you truly will enjoy because AI is looking at all that data and helping to produce that. And then Amazon uses AI to suggest products based on your past purchases, drive sales. The other thing that Amazon uses AI on is they actually know what you're going to order before you're going to order it. So that's how they're able to now have packages that arrive to you overnight and such. Because Amazon warehouses actually have certain products and trends based on what they see what you're doing. They're going to predict you're going to make a purchase. It's actually already boxed and waiting for you to go ahead and just complete the purchase. And that's how they're able to offer overnight shipping. The other day I ordered something. I had it in my house at 6 a.m. when I woke up. And now they even have overnight shipping in the middle in Staten Island. We could get delivery between 2 and 4 a.m. if you select. So, but that's how they're able to do that. And then AI-powered chatbots. This is one we spoke about earlier. This is game-changing because it now allows customer support 24/7. It allows a representative of your company who knows you're a company, knows your business, to go ahead and work 24/7. It's great for lead generation because it's able to take a communication and a chat and understand and qualify, is this a good lead before it even hands it off to you? As an IT professional, we tend to get we only deal with business IT, but we get a lot of residential IT that hits the website. Well, that chatbot could have that communication and before it even hits up to us, be like, hey, we're really sorry, we don't offer residential based on this conversation, and make a referral so the customer still leaves happy. So go and say, hey, give this person a call, and we're really sorry that we weren't able to help you. But again, 24/7 is doing lead generation. And companies like H&M and Sephora use chatbots for everything from styling tips to product recommendations. So training is for the AI success. Both Bill and Leonard brought up, and it's one of the most important things, is data governance. Bill gave you a perfect example, and that was a real life example where an individual went and said, give me the bonuses of the executive, and that was actually happening in a major organization. You need to have data governance. Once you have that data governance thing and you start to bring your company into using AI, you want to make sure you're doing hands-on learning. You want the team to experiment. You want to leverage early adopters. So identify the team members who are using it and exciting and ask them to help other team members to get excited about it. Offer that continuous support. If they would like to use AI and really the efficiency, $30 a month per user for Copilot for Microsoft 365 may seem expensive when you think of $30 a month, but when you think of how many hours that saves that employee a month and what you gain back in other tasks, that's the best value you could spend. And then make sure you collaborate and share. Encourage the team to share their experience and ideas because it boosts learning and innovation. And we're going to do Q&A after. So thank you.
Once again, thank you for those informative sessions. I truly learned a lot and I'm enjoying it. I wish we could go on more, but I know in the interest of time, we need to start asking questions and then, curating the questions to the right panelists. Before I hand it over to the audience, I have one question, and that is to talk about the future innovations and predictions. So, between the three of you, perhaps each one of you can give us 1 minute where you think AI will be taking us. So what emerging AI trends or technologies are you most excited about right now? And then how do you think AI will change the human experience in ways we aren't yet truly anticipating, right? So
Great questions. Yeah. The most exciting thing for me, I think, is like I said before, is what the medical advancements are going to be doing. The drug discovery, the Da Vinci, assisted surgeries are absolutely amazing. I don't know if anybody's seen that or had one. A couple of my friends have had them. They're absolutely amazing, and we're just at the very, very beginning of this. They have now going into trials with animals, being able to cure diseases. So if you've got calcium in the arteries in your heart, they typically would put a stent in, kind of push everything out to the side, open the blood flow. They now have technology which will go in at a cellular level and completely eat away the calcium with nothing, penetrating the skin or anything like that. It gets in there and it just does its thing. They say that'll be available in 5 to 10 years for human beings, which is absolutely mind-boggling. The other thing that's interesting to me, and thank you, Mike, for correcting me on that, there will be jobs going away. Yeah, Microsoft just hired several thousand employees, all virtual. They're doing automation jobs, and they work 24/7 doing, tasks of picking things up and putting them down, technically moving things around. So that's going to be incredibly exciting and interesting. I think the challenges we have are, as Mike said, a lot of people are going to be displaced. But my hope for the future is every single technology we've seen before, they've predicted, that it's going to replace people. What are people going to do and all that? And up until this point, I mean, look at our unemployment, our labor, statistics is pretty strong here, and we're already using a lot of this technology. So I don't think the net loss is going to be as bad, but there will be a lot of disruption along the way, and people will be displaced. So that's concerning to me. And it's one of the biggest social issues, I believe, of our time. The other thing I think which is really concerning, if you listen to the experts and the people who are much smarter than me, is that there is an incredible concentration of wealth and power amongst a very few people. So we already know that, and in society, there's a concentration of wealth in very few people, but now there's a concentration of serious power and economic strength and power. When you look at these trillion-dollar valuation companies, like NVIDIA last week and Apple and the other ones, these companies have more economic power, wealth, and power in the technology than some nation states, many nation states, most nation states. So that is a concern for me. I do believe that I think the gains that we've seen in being able to relate to each other on a personal level, the Zoom calls and things like that. I mean, I'm now able to communicate and have relationships with people all across the country, across the world, who I haven't seen in years, who are dear to my heart. And we get on Zoom calls once a month. The junior high school rock band I'm in, every month we get on a call. So I think there's a lot of real serious value in terms of personal relationships here. But along with that comes a lot of challenges socially.
yeah, and to that, I would say, we're knowing where we're going from here. I think it's our responsibility to empower one another, right? To rise to the challenge. If you know that something's going to go away, why don't we start learning a little bit more? Why don't we start investing in it a little more? And then, taking up the challenge as opposed to letting that job go because we weren't ready for it, right? So, good.
So just going off of that, I think Microsoft announced that 25% of its code has already been, or like going forward and currently is written by AI. I think they have to have some sort of approval process, but that on its own is absolutely insane. And I also think a lot of the concerns that we're seeing nowadays, about layoffs and everything else, was more or less happening pre-AI, and it does have a lot to do with company priorities and what these companies are doing. We had the same concern about outsourcing. It could be thought of the same way almost. But one of the things that I'm very optimistic about is how people are going to be using AI. When all technology comes out, it makes doing something easier. The internet made communication easier, printers, transportation. It makes things easier. And then you can say, okay, so now the people who are doing that basic thing, now what are they going to do? Or it makes it faster where they can do it all the time. I think there are two different ways to use AI and technology, which is the first way is to make your life easier and to do less work, which is good. And the second part is to use it to be able to do more and better work. So taking any technology like social media, you can be addicted to it. You can spend all your time doing it, do nothing else, and it's a loss for you. Or you can utilize it for your business, take it as a learning opportunity, read what other people are doing, and use it to grow, which I think is a lot of the mentality we have to go into this with. I'm very optimistic in a lot of ways, but also as someone who has grandparents who are constantly getting phishing scams, emails, calls, text messages that are getting better and better, I'm also very concerned about this. As Mike mentioned, phishing emails are going to sound a lot more convincing, and as the data that is out there increases with either what you put on social media or what happens in breaches, now you can get phishing emails from someone that you know because a contacts app got hacked and they know who knows you. So while I'm very optimistic for its growth in productivity, making things easier to do, brainstorming, efficiencies with automation, and medical system everywhere, I also am very cautious and concerned about malicious parties who are going to be using it. Because essentially it's like an unlimited human being, right? And so that could be used either here or there.
Yeah, so be vigilant, right? Yeah, understand.
Yeah, so I'm excited for where it's going to go. AI is in its infancy right now, and I can't wait to see where it is 10 years from now. If I look at the very near term, I'm excited for the laptop I just used is a Microsoft Copilot Plus PC. What that means is the PC and the processor from Intel actually has what's known as an NPU, a neural processing unit in there, and AI is being done at a chip level on that actual PC. So at the near term, I'm excited to see the growth of these Copilot PCs come out and AI being done in the palm of your hand, on your laptop. The Google Pixel phone has AI built into it with NPUs. So we're seeing AI built everywhere. Hey, there's AI sneakers already. What I'm worried about is, we spoke about phishing, scams, but even worse than that, that's going to affect every single one of us. The next major technology advance outside of AI is going to be quantum computing. And already with quantum computing and with AI, passwords are going to go away because computers and AI is able to already figure out what you guys put the exclamation point instead of the I or the L. AI can figure that out. Quantum computing is going to take passwords to the next level and be able to crack passwords that today would take a PC 14,000 years and crack it in 5 minutes. So seeing where cryptography goes and how we log in and these points of security, that's what scares me because there's very smart people, smarter than me, working on this, and I don't think there's still a plan for how are we going to authenticate properly and safely once this occurs.
Cybersecurity guy is scared. We should. Yes, go ahead.
2 quick points again that blew me away when I read them. Ray Kurzweil said that several medical professionals absolutely believe that the first human being to reach 1,000 years old has already been born. Several medical professionals who are really deep into disease prevention and disease cures, several of them absolutely believe that, which blew me away, whether you believe it or not. But smart people are saying that. It's kind of scary. Not even scary, but again, socially scary. How do we deal with something like that? The other thing that Sam Altman, who is the head founder of OpenAI, said that, getting back to the concentration of wealth and all of that, he said he believes that someday there will be a one-person, $1 billion company, because that person will have access to everything needed to build a $1 billion company all by themselves. So this is exciting, crazy, crazy stuff with a lot of, like Mike said and Leonard said, there's a lot of dangers and whatever. But we're really at the precipice of a change in humanity in a way that we've never seen before, and it's pretty exciting and scary.
Exciting. Yeah. So we'll open it up. This was really interesting and I learned a lot. I hope you all have. So go ahead. Your questions.
Do you know of any particular courses? I was just talking right here, and we were talking about Microsoft is great, but I use mostly Google and Gmail. So, do you know of any powered AI that is assimilated with the Gmail?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Google was a pioneer in AI, and they were one of the leaders. I mean, come on, the search engine used AI 25 years ago. They had so I would recommend you search that. I mean, I don't use any of the Google tools, obviously. I carry the Microsoft flag, but Google has got some serious. I mean, their AI 6 years ago flew a fighter jet in the most tricked out moves, completely unmanned, that we've ever seen. They had the technology that beat AlphaGo in 2014 that woke up the Chinese, which is a very interesting story. They beat it in South Korea. It was streamed across the world to 1 million people, and Chinese government called them up and said, listen, we want to do this again here in China. We believe we have a better AlphaGo player and we can beat it, but you're not going to stream it. You're never going to mention the word Google, and we're going to do this shootout. And Google won, hands down. And that's when the Chinese government said, uh-oh, we've got to get on the bandwagon here. So Google is, IBM, Google, all these technology companies have it. So I would recommend, Google, education on that platform.
You know what? You can use Gemini. Gemini is like the ChatGPT version for Google.
Very simple.
You can
Yeah.
also use Toolify. I think Toolify, isn't that like a database of all different AI sites you can use right now? Yeah,
So
like Amazon.
grow.google.com is where you want to go. There's Google courses, and the one you want to search is the Prompting Essentials. It's a free course by Google for Google Bard, which is going to be integrated and fully built around the Google Workspace environment. My professional opinion would be go to the Microsoft 365 environment, get away from the Google environment. But yeah, grow.google.com, and Google Bard is a great AI tool. It's nowhere near where OpenAI is, in my opinion, for the everyday masses. But yeah, that's what you want to do, that Prompting Essentials.
I was just going to add something to that. Something that's relatively new is Google's Notebook LM, which essentially lets you, it's more for learning and studying, but essentially you can ingest tons of 50 PDFs, super long stuff, and ask it questions. And the weirdest thing it can do is actually create a podcast for you. And I'm sure you guys have seen this online somewhere, but it makes a conversational podcast. It's a bit uncanny at times. I heard it going and I was like, that's a real podcast, but these guys are like reading off a script that's fake, right? So Notebook LM, very helpful. And not just that, but it also, if you put a bunch of documents in there, it can tell you exactly where it's getting its answers from. So it cites itself.
Any other courses aside from Google or anything that would be good for training myself and to know how to prompt AI better or anything like that?
I would say use it. I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, if somebody gave you a manual on how to use a smartphone 15, 20 years ago, you could read the manual, you still pick up the smartphone, you're not going to know what to do with it. It's just repetitively just going through it and learning it.
asking the AI. So you could actually prompt through, do what you're trying to do, and then at the end of that prompt, say, hey, what could I have done better in the future to make this, have less back and forth communication? And one of the things you could do, what we do with ChatGPT is we'll tell it our goal and tell it, can you tell me what you need from me to really give me a good answer for this? And the AI engine will tell you, hey, here's what you should be doing, or here's how you could improve yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, and actually, I just gonna piggyback on that. Like, I also like to train my GPT. I'm telling like as prompt engineer and do me that. So they will give you like some tips on how to prompt itself. And at the end, I also like to ask him like ask me any other questions that you will need to do this. So that's pretty powerful, and you will have some things like a really amazing. So it's just like you said, like if you just give a good, a nice prompt, you will have like a nice response. My question is about like talking about garbage in, garbage out. Like what about, or what is the ethical line for the auto information, the auto setup of information that's most of the AI is producing, talking about hallucinations, talking about, when those systems create their own reality, and they are trying just to use like a so-called like a factual information that is not true. Talking about that. And my second question is more like in the optimistic side. I work for the Franklin Food Bank, nonprofit. So I will love to hear your perspective in how AI could improve like social problems, social challenges, and what is like the real perspective of AI solving those kind of issues.
I guess we'll pass it around, but just to do the first one, it's a big concern, especially with creative content, for AI to hallucinate or create artwork and media, which is then ingested by other AIs to create, and it sort of hallucinates further and further. And it's a big concern for a lot of people, because the question is, when are we going to have something new? AI is trained on historical data, and it will do well on historical data. And sometimes it can push the barrier, but like the question is, are you watching movies because it's exactly the characteristics of a movie that you like, or sometimes does a movie introduce new characteristics that weren't thought of before, sort of like that human element of creativity? And I think the hallucinations will always happen, but as the others have talked about, you got to double check everything, and it will get things wrong. Just like an expert in a field might give you a detail wrong, it will also give you a detail wrong. I think that's inevitable. In terms of like a food bank, just I'll say something quick, but like, for example, maybe first thought that comes to mind is AI sort of sentiment detection via video to, for example, see, what are people most uncomfortable with approaching, what conversations need to be had, but they are uncomfortable with having, so you could be more proactive about this, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the hallucinations are definitely a problem. Yeah, and what's even a bigger problem is that when the AI begins to do things that we don't understand, they shut down several simultaneously, several research projects where the computers started talking to each other in a language that we didn't understand. They started communicating in such a way that we got scared and we shut it down entirely. So yeah, and that's a whole thing about the singularity. Is it going to take over? Is it going to kill us and all that? I don't know anything about that, but yeah, it is a problem when it starts ingesting data, like you said. And there's a lot of bad data out there, as we all know, bad information, false information, lies. And when people begin to use that, that's a real problem. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I would say about it. But in terms of the social benefit of it, I was telling Veronica today, I met with a couple of my colleagues, and they're invested in helping nonprofits, and on two levels. One is in the grant writing process and be able to understand what's available in terms of resources and funding, and then be able to go after that without massive number of hours and people to generate the requests for that. That there's apps coming out now and very targeted and whatever that can help with that. On the other side of it, there's also AI where they're helping these social service agencies to be able to fill out a lot of the paperwork that's required for regulatory compliance and insurance and payments and all of that. So it then frees up those practitioners' time to then be able to invest that time again in their populations so that the outcome for the patients is a heck of a lot better.
Just quickly on the hallucinations, maybe AI is learning from us. Has anyone here ever seen a reboot movie? I think we're running out of ideas too, so we just keep rebooting. So it's how we trained it.
So my question, you kind of mentioned, I was curious about your thoughts about AI singularity and if that concept has like a reality to it, or is it just, yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's absolutely for real. I mean, when you look at the end game in AI, there's a great thinker, Ray Kurzweil. I recommend you read his book and then expect to have anxiety for 3 months like I did. And weird dreams and all kinds of things. He talks, he's a futurist, has been for 30, 40 years. He was the pioneer in speech to text 40 years ago. And he said that we're going to have a direct interface between our brain and the cognitive abilities of this computing power that we've created. And we'll be able to take advantage of all that advanced cognitive abilities just organically. In fact, Elon Musk has got a neural link where you're connecting your brain directly to a computer. So that is going to happen, and that's what they call it when the singularity happens. His book is called The Singularity is Nearer. His first one was The Singularity is Coming, and this one, which was delayed by 3 or 4 years because he had to keep updating it. So even when you read these books 2 years, 3 years out, they're almost irrelevant. He believes that we're going to get to that point in the next 20 years where we will have a direct interface. We'll think of something and we'll be able to get the answer without even having to do prompting and everything. That's pretty wild, but that's what they say.
When I was a kid and found out the sun was going to blow up in like billions and trillions of years, that terrified me for some time. And I think a lot of these things can be terrifying because it's more or less beyond our imagination. You know, the universe infinitely expanding. What does it mean? And our current form of AI is incredibly powerful, but language learning models are essentially really, really good autofill and autocorrect. It's getting better with chain of process thinking, but I think that AIs, they're all like tiny segments. You know, they do little things. There's a little AI here to read your email to tell you what your flight details are on Gmail. You know, there's a little AI in McDonald's to optimize a process. So there are all these little things, and I think we can really benefit from that from now. I don't try to think too much about these end of the world type situations. I hope I'm not here for that. You know, even though it's 20 years for the interface, I personally wouldn't want an interface.
Just take the blue pill.
Hi, Yvette from Athene School and Hospital. In the process of rebuilding our website, and I was wondering if you have any recommendations on how to use AI on new websites. Part B is I want to make it more accessible. So I've been reading a little bit about how AI can make websites more accessible for people who are deaf and blind. So just any ideas?
It really does depend on what you're building your website on. If you're building it fully custom, if you're building it using an existing platform, regardless, you'll be able to utilize AI to send it to your website. You can literally ask ChatGPT, visit my website, tell me if there are any accessibility problems. And as you're building it, you can always feed it in that information to improve and everything else. There are plenty of great AI accessibility tools. I forgot the name of some of them, but it depends on what platform you're using. But definitely you can use it to like just look at your website and give you recommendations from there.
Yeah, we develop websites. I started as a software developer, so we developed quite a few websites. And one of the things we do is make sure they're ADA compliant and has all of those tools built in. So as Leonard said, yeah, there's a lot you can do there. There's a lot of tools. But it depends on how you're starting and what your goals are.
Would you recommend like those chat bots, that reply to people? I mean, I don't know. I've heard two things, that some people really don't like those replies and it turns them off.
Well, it all depends on how good it is, and we know that they've been horrible for a long time, right? But they're getting much, much better. In fact, in some instances, you can't even tell that it's not a human being, but it's all about the data behind it. It takes a lot of data. Like the reason it costs $30 a month with a 1-year commitment, when we got our first license about 8, 9, 10 months ago, when it came out, we said to Microsoft, we're a partner. Why do we have to pay? They said, you don't understand. The first person in your organization that gets the Microsoft Copilot for M365, all of the entire data, everybody's emails, contacts, calendars, Teams chats, OneDrive, SharePoint, all of that data gets ingested into Azure and then goes into the large language model. And it took us probably about close to 3 weeks with 30 years of data for it to begin to act upon that. And they said Microsoft loses money for a long time, and it's been proven the financial community busted them for that 6-8 months ago. They had great earnings and whatever, and their stock dropped the next day 6% because they said, oh, we're going to continue to invest billions of dollars into this thing, and there's no revenue yet. So the fact of the matter is, you need a lot of data to make the chatbots as good as they should be. So there's a lot of work involved, but the companies that are doing that, you can't tell that you're not talking to a human being, and they give you good answers.
Just to quickly add, I think chatbots can be very, very, very helpful, and especially if they're done properly. But you also have to think about it from a usability perspective. If you just log into a site and you're bombarded with chats all of a sudden when you don't know what's going on, think of it like, you go into a store and you're overwhelmed, and a guy comes up to you and he's like, "What do you need?" You have to think about that element of it. Maybe introducing the chat at the right spot. Maybe after 30 seconds of being on the site, maybe they hover over certain things, and you can add it to the chatbot so it knows what they hovered, what pages they're interested in. So you can now think about it as, when would you have your customer service agent reach out to them?
Yeah, it's another perfect example to ask AI on what it recommends. But two of the key points and tools to help you is UserWay is the major ADA plugin. I'm not sure if they have AI yet. And then the one I just found on a search is ada.cx is an actual ADA AI chatbot with voice AI. So if it is someone who's blind, it'll actually have AI talk to them instead of having to do the chatbot. So you might want to take a look at that plugin. But ask AI.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's give our panel a round of applause. They did a great job. I also want to thank Meeta for emceeing and moderating our panel today. We have a bunch of IT partners in the partnership, new partners like TeamLogicIT we look forward to working with. Outside of AI, we've worked, Alpine and EisnerAmper have worked to help build the Somerset Business Hub for RideWise and the business partnership. And we just completed our podcast studio with the help of Tekie, Geek. So outside of AI, if you're looking for partners for what you're looking to enhance with your business, these are 3 great companies to talk to. So thank you so much for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day. And our speakers will stick around for a little bit if you have any more questions. Take care.